For reals, like I'm getting so effing mad. And that girl by you stank? Question mark. LMFAO. She stank. I smelled something and these MFs are weird as F. On God, like these kids make me want to fight them. Low key. And I don't like this Ching Chong girl right next to me.
Here we go. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah.
Today's today. We all rise.
What's good, y'all? Welcome to the Substitute Preacher Podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah Johnson, aka the Substitute Preacher. This is episode 2. I'm so excited for this one. You guys got a glimpse of the note and what I'm going to be talking about. I'll provide some context on that shortly here. Me throwing the note, walking off was, yes, it was for dramatic effect, but those were my raw emotions. I personally know and have taught the 2 young ladies who were exchanging in the note writing. And so I'm just really disappointed. I was frustrated when I read the note. And here we have 2 young ladies who are bright and intelligent, influential, and could be using their talents for positivity and to unite their classmates and uplift their classmates. And instead, they're doing the opposite and tearing people down and talking about people. And that's just not cool. There's no room for that. I mentioned in episode 1, I got a daughter, 4 going on 5, and you guys are gonna be her teachers, her entertainment, her role models. You guys are gonna be the people she's looking up to. So that's why I take this so seriously. Besides, number 1 is Jesus Christ and honoring him and trying to get that word out. I'm trying to get y'all better, get y'all on the right track for my daughter, for this world, to make this world a better place. We're all in this together. And don't let her be a teenager and one of her teachers is giving her problems or allowing her to fail, or even worse, taking part in her failure. I'm throwing hands. I might be a little older, but I'm still gonna be big. I'm still in the gym, so I'm still gonna be strong. I'm throwing hands. It's gonna be a problem, and then I'll just ask God for forgiveness. He got me. But in all honesty, like, I take this so seriously because everyone thinks the world is in shambles. The United States, California specifically, and it ain't over till it's over. Like, I'm still fighting and trying to make sure that this could be a safe environment without having to worry about all the nonsense. So this is nonsense. I'm going to address it. Hopefully we can correct it and turn this thing around. So the 2 young ladies who were involved, I got love for y'all. I'm looking forward to the light switch popping off. Hopefully it's from you watching this video. Maybe not. Maybe it takes a little more time. Whenever it happens, I'm excited for your guys' future and for you guys getting on the right track. So here's a quick background on the class. And I can't get too specific. I want to make this as anonymous as possible, just to protect the young ladies, the class, my school, where I was teaching. But I will say this took place in a math class, and math is my favorite subject to teach because I always understood it pretty easily, especially through algebra, geometry. Like, it always just came easily. I paid attention. That was why. And so as a teacher now, I definitely enjoy teaching it. I think I do a great job at helping people understand helping the kids get the material. So PE and math, those are typically the two types of classes I want to be in as a substitute. That being said, math is probably the most difficult class to teach. Not only the content, but the overall attitude. Like, math gets a bad rap, and most kids don't look forward to taking the class in the first place. And secondly, they just have a bad attitude about it. They're pessimistic. They think, oh, I have no shot. And that's not true. So if you're a student now, if you're going to be taking a math class, I want to change that whole attitude. You have to understand, with math, it's cumulative. So the higher up you go, what you learn from point A is gonna carry over to what you're learning in point B. Then once you jump up to C, A and B still gonna be there. So if you're messing around, if you're not paying attention during one topic, as you progress to the next one and the one after that, you're kind of gonna be screwed because you're behind, right? And so the only way to thrive and really understand the information, you gotta stay on top of it. You just have to pay attention. Now, yes, some kids, I understand, some kids pay attention and they're doing their best and they just still don't get it. It's like another language to them. If that's you, there is help out there. There's a lot of resources that specifically focus on math and offer extra attention to struggling kids. So whether that be after school programs, tutoring, do your best, research it, and see how you can get help. Contact an adult or a teacher at your school. Shoot, contact me. Hit me up in the DMs or throw it in the comment section. I hate math, or I really, really struggle with math. And we'll see how we could get you some help. My math class. This was a long-term job I took earlier in the year. So I was with the class a little bit over a month, and they gave me a hard time. And they gave the teachers after me a hard time. So I see the kids now. I switched. I'm doing PE right now. So all that being said, this math class in particular at times was a struggle. And Mr. Johnson takes pride on having control and order in the room. Like, my classes, I'm not with the BS. I'm not just going to let anarchy take place. And some of the classes, every now and then you get one class that is hard to just control. It's hard to do that. And especially this class, it's a long-term class. So I'm going to be with them for a while. I have to actually teach. If it's a day job or I'm with the class for 2 days, I just, all right, give them what the teacher asked for them. This class, I had to come up with content. I had to write it on the board and give lessons. I had to give quizzes. And they all hated math. They acted like they hated me, but I see them now. They appreciate me. So that's good to know. But I hated them. Now, I'm definitely joking. Love-hate relationship for a minute. I'm doing PE now, and I still have a lot of those kids. So it's great seeing them now. I'm with a smile on my face, dap them up. How you doing? Good to see you. How's math? Glad I ain't got to teach you. But in all seriousness, though, I love those kids, and they're young. They're underclassmen, so they're still learning the ropes and figuring things out. And I think a lot of them are going to get it. I'm glad I get to be a part of that journey. I'm hoping I could be a part of that journey in the future. So looking forward to that. But this class, they were tough. A lot of them came in knowing each other. So these kids, there's a little clique here and there's a little clique there. And some of them's cool, but some of them have beef against each other. And it's high school. I'm sure you understand. And I have my own tactics. I've been doing this a couple years now, so I understand how to sometimes get through to the kids, or at least just get them to shut up. Because sometimes that's just what you need, is them to just be quiet, give them a little something to do. All right, if you ain't gonna do it, you don't care, that's fine. But just, you ain't disrupting my class. One of my go-tos is seating chart, changing up the seats. All right, I'm gonna put you by the weird kid. I'm gonna put you by the kid that doesn't talk, quiet kid that doesn't talk. You going by the kid that always talks. And we're gonna see how this thing works. Generally that works, and I'll give them a warning. Hey, I'm gonna switch your guys' seats, and then they'll kind of calm down. And if that doesn't work, if the warning doesn't work, I do it. And at least for a few days or a week, they don't really know each other and everything's peaceful. So I did that, and it took 2 or 3 times, and it took me going off 2 or 3 times and kicking kids out of class to kind of get through to them, and I think I finally did. However, one of the 2 girls in this note-taking dilemma here, and maybe there was another 1 or 2 kids, I just couldn't do nothing. And so I isolate the kid. I just put him by himself, or I put him right next to me. All right, you ain't gonna talk. And generally that'll work. However, one of these 2 young ladies, it still was a problem. And there's a contrast between the 2 girls involved, which makes this situation a little bit more alarming, a little bit sad. Like, one of the 2 girls is really struggling in school, in her classes. And how do I know that? I've received emails from counselors and other teachers who were teaching her as well, other subjects. And she's going through it. What she's doing in my class, sure enough, she's doing in all her classes. Just disrupting, standing up, doing whatever, talking to other kids, not paying attention, on her phone. And again, I know the young lady, and she's very sweet. I think she's a good leader. Like, she talks, she puts people on music, and she talks about just the culture and what's going on, and she gets the class hyped. She can bring the class down. Like, she doesn't understand her influence and her impact on other kids. And the perfect example is her friend, the girl she was passing the note with. And that young lady is actually very smart. She's really intelligent. And she came in, she should probably be in the next math up, the higher subject. And there's times where she doesn't even pay attention. And then next thing you know, I call her out, and she just looks at the problem and, oh, it's this, here's the answer. Or she'll do it real quick. She knows all the formulas. So here you have 2 ladies. One doesn't understand math. She's struggling. Doesn't pay attention. Obviously that don't help, but she's struggling. And then you have another one, her friend, who is easy, piece of cake. And there's a scale. And you have one on this side, one on that side. And instead of this one weighing down the scale and bringing this one up with her, and now bam, they're both killing the class. It's easy class. Yeah, during lunch, hang out and talk mess, and all that's cool, fine. But sadly, it's the opposite. This one, who doesn't know anything, is weighing the scale down, right? And now this one, she's deteriorating. She's not paying attention. And now, oop, here's something I didn't know. And she's missing it. And so instead of having an A in the class and helping her friend maybe get to a C or a B minus, now she's starting to drop. Instead of having an A, now she's down to a B minus because she's missing assignments. And she thought she knew everything, but now it's getting a little bit harder. She doesn't know this, and she missed it. her friend her grades are bad. And so now it's just a lose-lose. They both brought each other down. The negative influenced the positive, and you get this. And again, sometimes you get just not caring. Kids don't care, or I'm gonna just sit back and do nothing. That's its own issue. But when you have people going out of their way to be negative and doing stuff like this, that's a whole nother issue. And we gotta find a way to get out of this mindset. Again, both young ladies are young, but if you're messing up this bad now for the girl who all her classes, all her teachers are complaining and saying she's a distraction and getting bad grades, cross that year out. It's a wasted year. You only have 2 or 3 more good years. And maybe your goal isn't college and a corporate job, and that's fine. But you got to have some sort of plan, because this leads down a road of failure, of disappointment, of struggling. You don't get school right, you do stuff like this, you're going to have the same approach to your jobs. And when you get a job, probably a low-paying job, because you don't have anyone who would recommend you, or you don't have any skills, you haven't learned nothing in school, didn't go to college, couldn't go to college, you ain't going to have opportunities to make as much money. And so now when you're starting in a lower-paying job, you're not going to like that, because those jobs are difficult, and it's hard. You have less freedom, you have less control. Because the jobs where you may have those opportunities, they need someone who's buttoned up and on top of their game. So now you're taking this approach, F that job, I don't need this job. And then you bounce to the next. And then after a while, same thing. Oh, I don't need them. They hating on me too. And now you're on your 3rd, your 4th job. And by then, you got a resume, you hand them that resume, and they see, oh, she was here for 2 months. She was here for 3 weeks. And she went to this job. What are her goals? Maybe you can lie and finesse, and that's cool. Oh, I have these goals, and I want to be with the company 5 years, but the resume says otherwise. It's about our future. It's about your future. And this, you have no future with this. Failing all your classes, there's no future. It's a gloomy, gloomy road. Again, it's not too late. You both are better than this. Let's fix it. I mentioned my daughter. Since she was maybe around 2, and even all the way up to this point, she's about to be 5. I play for her a song and a clip from a movie about a monster, scary, violent film. You may have heard of it. It's called Beauty and the Beast. But the opening scene of Beauty and the Beast, in all seriousness, it's a song. I think it's called Belle. And I got the lyrics here I'll share with you. And I'm really intentional with my daughter. The reason I would play this and sing it for her every day is because the message that it offers. And hopefully my young girls in the class, everyone else in the class, hopefully this resonates with you. Opening song comes out. Belle singing. Little town, it's a quiet village. Every day like the one before. Little town full of little people. Waking up to say bonjour. And that's French for hello, right? So here you have Belle. She's talking about the town. Little town, quiet village. Every day like the one before. So it's just the same stuff. Same people. nothing out of the ordinary, just kind of going through the motions. She's not about that. She has greater goals, greater visions. The town sings, "Look, there she goes, that girl is strange, no question. Dazed and distracted, can't you tell? Never part of any crowd, ooh, 'cause her head's up on some cloud. No denying she's a funny girl, that Belle." So you have people looking at her like, oh, she's using her imagination, she's dreaming, and they're hating. They're calling her strange, dazed and distracted, because she's doing what she gotta do. Never part of any crowd, like because she's on her own, handling business, they wanna hate. They go on to say, "Now it's no wonder that her name means beauty. Her looks have got no parallel." Hating on the way she looks. "But behind that fair facade, I'm afraid she's rather odd. Very different from the rest of us is Belle." So basically, because she's different, because she's not with the crowd, not doing what everybody else doing, they hating. Like, that's crazy. The cool thing is you have Gaston, who comes over, and you have the Beast down the road. They both see her value and her beauty. And even though she's reading and she's dreaming, she's kind of a loner, they see that she's different. And there's something cool about being different. You have an opportunity to separate yourself when you're different. When you're the same, you're just kind of middle of the pack. Everyone's doing the same thing. They're kind of holding you down. When I'm by myself, I'm figuring these things out. I have a chance to elevate, to grow, to separate myself. At the end of the song, the crowd goes, "Look, there she goes, that girl is strange but special. A most peculiar mademoiselle. It's a pity and a sin, she doesn't quite fit in. Very different from the rest of us is Belle." So again, they see she's special too. It's like, oh, she's on the right track, she's doing these things, but they still think it's weird. The kids these girls were talking about, be like Belle. And we'll get into bullying on future shows, and this is sad. And if a kid would have picked this up and they were one of the kids being talked about, that's shady. And kids go through things, and you never know. Some kids are suicidal. Some kids, they're abused at home. And you're sitting here going out of your way to talk about them. Shady. Don't do that. But if you're one of those kids, one of these kids here, be like Belle. Shoot, I don't care. They talking about, she knew they were talking about her. She's sitting here laughing at them. Little town, quiet people, little town. Every day like the one before, y'all doing the same things. Y'all can have it. I'm cool. I'm getting better. I'm elevating. That's what it's about. And that's why I sing it to my daughter. For about 2 years, probably two, maybe she was 4, a little, now she's almost 5. I don't play it every day, but I still be playing it. To wake her up, I play that. And so now when she's going in school and she goes up in grade level, I encourage her every day. It's okay to be different. It's okay to be special. It's okay to be alone sometimes and study and do your work. It's okay to pray when you're by yourself. And they're over there tripping and being mean and bullying. That's fine. It's going to set them back. You go be great. So the same way I'm encouraging my daughter, I encourage you guys to go be great. It's funny, in the book of John, chapter 1, John the Baptist is kind of preparing everyone for Jesus is coming, and they think he's this great religious leader, radical, and he's like, nah, the one coming after me, watch out for him. He's talking about Jesus. And so I think it was one of his disciples, Philip. He starts telling him, hey, did y'all hear? He tells his brother Nathaniel, hey, did you hear this dude Jesus is coming? He's from Nazareth. He's dope. Like, he's the guy. He might be the one we've been praying for, the Messiah, the one coming to set us all free. Nathaniel goes, Nazareth? Can anything good come from there? Now, Nazareth was a small town, looked down upon, probably similar to the town Belle was in. And the same way that Belle ascended into royalty, she became the princess, got with the beast. Jesus, he came from this little town Nazareth. No one really cared about. And he was the Messiah. It doesn't matter where you come from. Doesn't matter your background, your family's background, or history. You have an opportunity to be great. In fact, God calls us to be different. Jesus was praying in John chapter 17. He says, I have given them your word, and the world has hated them, for they are not of the world, any more than I am. But my prayer, he goes on to say, is that basically you sanctify them by the truth. Sanctify, I mean set apart. Christians, we're called to be set apart. In the same way, and again, maybe you're not a Christian yet, and that's cool, and whatever. You still want to be set apart. You want to be sanctified from everybody else. There's only so many successful people in this world. Not everybody's called to be successful, to be great. But I'll tell you one thing, you could put yourself in that position. You can grind and work hard and do your best to be great, to be different. Don't go with what the crowd's doing. I'll leave you guys with this. 1 Kings chapter 3, the story of Solomon. Most people know who Solomon was. He was the son of David, considered the wisest man alive during his time, probably ever, one of the wisest. He was a king. He went on to be a king for many years and had an incredible reign. He was extremely wealthy. How did he get there? How did he get the wisdom? Well, in 1 Kings 3:9, God came to him in a dream and asked him, what would you like? What is one thing you want? Like a genie. If you had a genie and instead of 3 wishes, they just gave you one. What's one wish you desire? Verse 9, Solomon says, so give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people and to distinguish right from wrong, aka wisdom, right? This pleased God. Moreover, I will give you what you have not asked, for both wealth and honor. So in seeking wisdom and knowledge, which we may not all naturally have that, but we can get after it, right? I've talked about special is external. Greatness is external. It's there for the taking. Like research. We have books. We have technology. We have Google. We have documentaries. Go learn something. Seek after that. Everything else will come with it. Be greater later. Sacrifice now. Study now. All right, I'm gonna skip the parties. I'm gonna skip the BS, the playing around. And in the end, I'm gonna be wealthy. I'm gonna put myself in a position to make some good money. I'm gonna have knowledge. And everything else that comes after that is gonna be positive. You're gonna at least give yourself a chance. Versus sitting back and being a distraction and not caring and, oh, I only want fun now. I'm all about the now. Your future, you're not setting yourself up right. So I love you guys. 2 young ladies. I expect better. I know you guys are going to do better. I can't wait to watch it. Like, comment, subscribe, rate. If you're on the podcast, rate 5 stars, please. I appreciate the support. Share with somebody you know. Share with somebody you love. Someone in schools, especially. Someone who may struggle with peer pressure. And let's get them on the right track. I love you guys. Next episode, I'm going to kind of preview the series that I'll be, and I didn't say this in the first one, but how I want to do this, I've already outlined it. I have series coming up. And so we'll talk about different topics, and I'll have different guests share their stories, how it relates. Hopefully it can motivate you and just give you the advice to succeed yourself. So really excited for that. I'm going to end with a prayer, and let's get better today. Father God, I thank you for the opportunity to get better. Thank you for second chances. Thank you for forgiveness. And for me personally, forgive me for any wrongdoings I've done recently. For these 2 young girls, I pray that they can experience conviction and that they turn from their ways and get back on the right track. They both have such a bright future. They have such an amazing purpose that you've planned out for them. Help them to go after that, go in the right direction. I pray for anyone experiencing bullying that they wouldn't turn to hatred or fear or sadness, but that they would be like Belle and they would set themselves apart and seek after greatness. I pray for anyone struggling in school that they would find the necessary help they need. And lastly, God bless anyone going through any type of bad situation, sick family member, someone just passed away, whatever it may be, God. Give us peace and comfort. Help us to feel your love and to treat others right. In Jesus' name, amen. Peace out.